Leather suspenders. Why do I wear them? A lot of the time when it comes to something like a leather belt, with this thing, what tends to happen is it squeezes my guts. Doesn't feel too good, especially if I'm doing something like riding a bicycle or like a motorcycle. So if you're like riding a bicycle or a motorcycle and you have a belt on, it tends to squeeze you pretty tightly, especially depending on like the kind of positioning that you are in. And to me, these suspenders like this are insanely useful to counteract that because it doesn't squeeze your body. It just lays on top of your shoulders essentially like this. And if you're bending over, you're picking things up, you know, it's not revealing your butt crack because it keeps it up, keeps it tight. The underside of the leather is the rough out. This is a full grain leather, so the underside of it is rough out, whereas the front side of it is smooth, natural veg tan leather. And typically, if you're going for suspenders, you're going to want a vegetable tanned leather. More than likely, I do believe a chrome tanned leather or a combination tanned leather can work for suspenders, but I feel like something like this, more rugged, more durable, it's never going to break. This thing will not break. Same with these full grain leather belts that I use. I've used these to take off stuck oil filters in cars. These things are so strong. Just like this. It is very hard to damage leather like this. The rest of it is just hardware. It's brass hardware. Very sturdy, very nice. Very nicely punched holes as well. I had to punch a few extra holes in here myself so that these brass studs would be at the right position for myself because obviously these are kind of a tailored fit, just like a belt would be. You have the height of your torso along with the height of whatever jean you're wearing. So these are somewhat of a higher rise Wrangler 13 MWZ, and you adjust the straps so that you can wear whatever pants you're wearing more comfortably. I don't have any pants, I don't believe, at the moment that have suspender buttons built onto them. These are not suspenders that are meant to connect to pants with suspender buttons on them. These are meant to hook onto belt loops, just like this. Just a brass hook, beautifully done, and super versatile in my opinion. And it looks good. It does have a particular look to it, of course. Like you see somebody wearing suspenders, like that's an intentional thing. You can tell that person probably thought about suspenders. Like, I want suspenders. It's something you kind of have to think about because nobody really wears them anymore, especially if we're talking about leather kind of workwear suspenders, right? Some people do wear suspenders with suits. Not my thing. I mean, maybe it would be my thing. Suits are not my thing, but this workwear, rugged, durable kind of stuff that ages over time, has a beautiful patina to it, darkens over time. It used to be a little bit lighter. Just so nice. Even if you don't want to run around with this being exposed, you can throw something over the top of it, like this barber. And that way, nobody sees you're wearing suspenders. You don't got to worry about it. You don't got to be shy over it. And you just go about your day rocking some really dope suspenders underneath. And here we come in a little bit closer to check out this Context Clothing leather suspenders. Very well done. Look at these thick stitches right there. This part tends to cover up the brass piece. I usually put it back there, but it does kind of fall down and such. It doesn't really matter too much. This is, of course, for the back. It goes onto a middle belt loop. So if you don't have a pair of jeans that has a belt loop in the middle of your back, you can still use these, of course. It's just going to be a little bit offset and might not look as nice, but it does work. I've used it with jeans like that. But that is why I typically prefer jeans with the belt loop in the middle, no matter how many they have, whether 5 or 7. Then with these two, it'll go on the two front ones. Typically, there are two belt loops right around the front that you'll use. That has never been an issue. Very well done. You got these brass studs. I did buy some leather working punchers basically so that I can create extra holes and slits. Very nicely done. The smaller hole is mostly just like a relief so that you can get the brass head into there. Very nicely stitched. I believe Context Clothing went out of business a few years ago. I bought this one probably off of a website like Grilled or eBay. I'm not sure how many of these are floating around, but definitely check the description because I usually like to add things in there to kind of help people out when they look for stuff like this. Beautiful leather suspenders. I actually kind of like that Context Clothing logo as well. It's like a C with a, I don't know, what is that, like a spade or a cactus? It looks like a cactus plant to me, maybe because I live in the desert. But yeah, that is the leather full grain suspenders. Here is a Gustin full grain leather belt as well. With the back side, we can compare the thicknesses of these two. So if you check it out, the Context leather suspenders are actually, they look a little bit thicker, but these edges on the Gustin belt are burnished, or they were. They're looking kind of choppy now, but they're kind of rounded off slightly using a tool. So they're probably similar in thickness. And the belt has also seen a lot more use, I would say, on top of the amount of pressure you have around your waist. These do kind of course, form and morph to your body, and suspenders will to an extent, just not quite as drastically. And I even have access to this pocket on these Wranglers when I have suspenders instead of a belt which completely covers it up.